Alright, hello everyone. I have a unboxing of sorts. Cubes will be coming out of boxes in this video, don't worry. But they're not new. They're old cubes that I got from an old friend. So a few of you are gonna know this name, Tall 5001. Just got back into cubing, and I had a cube meet with him today, and I bought some of his old cubes. Now these are all cubes that I knew about way back when, because I started cubing. I really started in 2009, and so I saw a lot of these cubes come out, and at the time my mom wouldn't let me order anything offline. So a lot of these cubes are throwback cubes. I think the most recent one came out in 2012, so we'll get started with some alpha cubes. This is the mini alpha, the 50 millimeter. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it's the mini alpha. And then this is another alpha cube. This isn't the original box. It is an alpha box, and you can see it's a little bit larger. I have a 55 millimeter cube here, so it's not quite 55 millimeters. I also have a 50 millimeter cube, and it's a little bit bigger than 50. I guess this is a little bit smaller than 50. But back in the day, these were like the thing to use for one-handed. This is another alpha cube. I could have put the alpha cubes in order, but I'll have to try and figure that out as I go. This is the alpha 1, he said, or the alpha 2, one of those. Alpha used to have really good 3x3s. As you can see, it says world record on there. World record, made in China. Cube boxes used to look cooler than they do now. You know, they were colorful. They didn't come with giant pieces of plastic that you're not really going to ever need or use. So some of these might be in the wrong boxes, but bear with me here. This is one of the later ones. This is the Alpha 5. I am fairly certain of that. This one has been restickered. Another Alpha cube here. This is again one of the older ones. The Alpha 3, I think. I believe this is the Alpha 3. I never knew my Alpha cubes too well because, like I said, I never had any. I did get the Alpha CC in 2013, but obviously nothing like these. And then there's another Alpha cube here, and this one is a Lubix version, and I believe this is 4. I could be switching the 3 and the 4. So cubes haven't always been quite as bad as people think they used to, but they definitely were not anything like what we have today. I also got this keychain 2x2 from him. These are kind of a novelty thing. It's from Mosey, and they turn fairly poorly. We'll move on to some of the other 3x3s. This is the original Maru cube, and it actually, you know, spins pretty well. It's got a very basic design like most of the cubes did back then, but the core and springs and screws actually make quite a bit of difference of how a cube turns. We'll move on to Shangaan cubes. I believe yes, this is the it's in a C1 box, but I believe it's the type F1. And look at that Lubix logo. This is one of the very, very first Lubix logos, so one of the very first cubes that Lubix came out with. I realize some of you may be too young and new to cubing that you don't even know what Lubix is, but Lubix used to be a really big thing. It was a lubricant, and they also modified and lubed cubes and sold them. Have another Shangaan cube here. This one is in a Shangaan box, and I'll get it out for you right now. And this, I believe, is the F3. It's definitely not an F2, and it's definitely not an F1, so I believe it is the F3. I could be wrong on that though, but I'm pretty sure it is the type F3. I think this might be another Shangaan cube. It's in a Land box. Oh no, this is an Alpha. This here says A2. So this could be an A2. I feel like it might be. But again, I'm not entirely positive. Next, we have up the original Cube for You cube that came out way, way back in the day. This is the original Cube for You tiled. It has very, very unnoticeable tiles. They're almost completely level with the plastic, and you can barely tell that they're on there. And so it makes so that you don't have to replace them. Unfortunately, it does have at least 2 logos, so I guess 3. So you couldn't use this in a competition. I imagine a lot of people probably did and they didn't catch it because the logos are so kind of unnoticeable. But you know, it's not a terrible cube. Not one I'd want to speed solve on now, but definitely a cool one. Next up, we have the original Ganz 3x3. This is one that some people either really liked or really didn't like. So this turned a lot of people off from buying future Ganz cubes and made some people want to buy quite a few. And you can see it's got a very interesting mechanism. The base of the corners or edges here kind of go out, and they have like stickerless parts on the inside. So it's so strange. So Ganz has been doing weird stuff for quite a long time, and also has the same sort of tiles that are like level in the pieces. Next up, I did get a V-Cube 2 from him because I did not have a square V-Cube 2. This is not a V-Cube 2 box, it's a WIT 2 box. Next up here, this is a Super Square One 4-layer thing. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to solve this. Maybe one day I will learn. Maybe not. Well, I'd say I'll probably learn because, well, I want to be able to solve it so it doesn't sit on my shelf scrambled. But for a while, it's going to sit on my shelf scrambled. Because these things, if you've ever watched anybody solve one, you'll know that they complain about how these things don't stay in alignment. Now, there's not really a way you can get them to stay in alignment, so it's not really a design flaw, it's just sort of this type of cube flaw. Next up, we got a couple of MF8 Megaminxes. These are missing some tiles, but that's alright. You can still get these same tiles for MF8 Megaminxes. So one of these is the version 1 and one of these is the version 2. I believe this white one here is the version 1 and this is the version 2. Next up, we've got some higher order things. We have this Cube for You 3x3x5 that is stickerless, and you solve it by the layers, not by the faces. So it's kind of interesting. You know, I think you might still be able to get these, but to be honest, I don't really know. Alright, so there's also some 4x4s. This is the Ishin 4x4. I had one of these in black that I found actually in a bookstore. I heard that, I don't remember what the bookstore's name was. It started with a B, and they went out of business. But I didn't get it when they were going out of business. They had weird pictures on them. So like one side, each sticker would have a little picture of a guy riding a bike, and just odd stuff like that. And I bought one of those. I unstickered it because the stickers were horrible, and I planned to order stickers for it, but never got around to it, and it kind of broke. So now I have this white Ishin 4x4. I also got this X Cube 4 in a ghost hand box. The X Cube was a really good 4x4 when it came out. It seems kind of small, so I will grab one of the other 4x4s. This is a regular size Aosu, and it is smaller. So there is that. This is a really cool cube. This is Throst's old V-Cube 5. It's got tiles on it. You can still find this in some of his videos. It's a very, very loose V-Cube 5, but you know, you're not getting a V-Cube 5 to speed solve anymore. I also got a white V-Cube 5. This one is a little bit slower, not quite as loose, and it's, you know, it's just kind of a regular V-Cube 5. I also got this V-Cube 6. This is modified, and you know, it's not something you'd want to speed solve anymore with the newer 6x6s, but you know, having another V-Cube 6 is quite cool. I also got a Shangaan 6x6 from him. This is one of the newest things. It's been restickered, and I like Shangaan big cubes quite a bit. I don't really use them much anymore because they're a little bit more prone to popping, but they're still quite cool. I also got the Shangaan 7x7 from him. Also in white. This is the regular size in white. And then we'll move on to Dianne cubes next. So we'll start off with a Dianne cube knockoff. This is the Shangaan. So it's a Zhanchi knockoff. They knocked off the box quite a bit. It actually turns pretty well. You know, it looks like a Zhanchi if you open it up. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference until you actually compare it to a Zhanchi. And it's, you know, it's a good cube. Here we have a Lun Hoi. I only have one. Oh no, this is not a Lun Hoi. This is a. Actually, it is. I was right the first time. I only have ever had one Lun Hoi, and it's black. And this is a Lubix Lun Hoi, so it actually turns pretty well. So I'm pretty excited to have a white Lun Hoi now, and I believe that this is the Lun Hoi box, and it is numbered. It says 4 line 00707. I believe the 707 is the number that it came with, but we won't know for sure. I believe this is another Lubix. This is a Lin Young. I'll have to take a look at it to see the version. It appears that this is the version 2, so I'll get this back together. So this is the Lubix Lun Hoi Lin Young version 2. I have another Lin Young here, and this one is another Lubix. Then I believe this is another version 2. They had slightly different options for getting them, you know, lubricated or modified or whatnot, and so they do feel quite a bit different actually. This here is another Lin Young, and this one is the version 1. This is a cube I'm very, very excited to have because I have another Lin Young version 1 here, and it's black, and it turns really well. Now, I bought this cube way back, not way back, I guess, in 2011, and someone took it, and then later on, I found it at a competition. You know, someone had it at the competition. I don't know if it was the same person that took it, but I was like, hey, could I trade you for this cube that you have? You know, it was their main. It was kind of old. I know it's mine because mine had that exact same tear on that sticker, and it just seems so unlikely that they could lose half of their sticker and it would be exactly like mine. Anyway, enough about that story. That's the only Lin Young version 1 I have, and so I'm really excited to get one in white. And now this is a Guhong version 2 box. Who knows if this is a Guhong version 2? I guess it is. So this is a Guhong version 2. Lubix Guhong version 2. Good cube. I've got some other Guhongs. And this one says Palm. Now, this is not actually a Guhong in here, so it's not the Palm Guhong. I'm hoping that one of these other Guhongs is the Palm, because that is a different type of plastic, and therefore would be a different type of cube. This is the Dianne Taiyan. Again, I'm happy to have this in white. I have 3 other versions of the Dianne Taiyan. I have black, primary, and transparent green. So again, I'm happy to have one in white, even if it is in a Guhong box. Like I said, I got a few more Guhongs here. This is another Lubix Guhong. This one this is a version 1. This could be the Palm. I'll have to play around with them and see if I can find out any more information about them. This is another Guhong. This does not appear to be a Lubix. And this is a version 1. I feel like this is the Palm. It feels a little different. Either way, I never had a Guhong version 1 in white. It's always something I've been meaning to order, but never really got around to. And then I have here, this is the last 3x3. It's a pink Guhong version 1. Now, I have one as a DIY kit right here. And I had another one that I sold at Nationals last year, but this one is much, much older. And I think you'll be able to tell the difference. So you can see the plastic colors are quite different, so this is a very different cube. It also does have the black screws. So this is, I don't know too much about this. I didn't know that they made pink Guhongs back then. I didn't hear about them until they released them again in 2014, 2015. But either way, I'm really excited to have this one. And then last up here, I got a mini Magic. So that I had a mini Master Magic. I don't know whatever happened to that. I probably traded it off at a competition sometime. But I never had a mini Magic. So there we go. That's all the cubes I got from him. I don't know how many that is. There's 22 3x3s, 2 4x4s, 2 5x5s, 2 6x6s, a 7x7, 2 Mega Minxes, the square one, and the 3x3x5, and the mini 2x2 and the V Cube 2, and then this Magic. I hope you enjoyed this video. Wow, that's a long video. I'm gonna end it here so it doesn't take 4 days to upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Goodbye.